What's up guys, Weslo here, and today we're back for another video after quite some time. I got some pretty cool news for you guys. I want to share something that I've been working on and kind of show you guys what I've been doing for the last few months without really posting very frequently, and just give you guys a little bit of an update. I know a few of you guys have been watching the channel or whatever. I understand this channel really isn't the biggest channel in the world, but I know some of you guys were watching my videos for game development tips and tricks and how-tos and stuff like that. And I'm gonna be showing you guys my new project and what I've been working on, kind of going over some aspects of it, and maybe you guys can learn a couple things as we jump into this. It's a very cool project, and I'm really passionate about it. I've been working on this project a heck ton over the last few months, and really, honestly, I started this project back in December, and there's been a huge amount of progress that I've gotten in on this thing. Even if it looks super bare bones now, there is a lot going on in the background architecturally that I've been really working on, and just kind of engineering this whole thing to be able to handle some stuff that some of my other favorite games handle, and hopefully I'm able to improve upon some things that they have done. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the project that I've been making, because this project is very, very cool, and I really think that it could be a really cool project that you guys might want to play someday, that I may be able to release it to you all to play and play with your friends, and it'll be a very, very cool project to see as I start building this out more, getting some of the artwork in, and building out more features and stuff like that in this project, that we can all go on this journey together, and I could post these little devlog updates like this one to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek into what's going on and what I'm working on currently. So yeah, let's hop right into the engine. I'm building this game in Unity, so a few things that's worth mentioning is that I'm using Unity to build this game. I'm not using Unreal like the Amazing Ball. This game is a 2D procedural world, much like Terraria, but it is infinite. So we have an infinite 2D procedural world with multiplayer pretty much baked in. I'm using an asset called Fishnet Networking to help with some of the networking stuff. For this, Fishnet is a really, really good asset if you were looking to build some sort of server authoritative model with dedicated servers and stuff like that for multiplayer, to build out your multiplayer infrastructure for your game. It's a really, really solid asset. I would strongly suggest getting it if you plan on building a multiplayer game. It is better than Unity netcode for game objects. I've used that before on a previous project called Wicked Wizards. We used that for my university capstone. It did the trick. It did a really well job for doing what we needed it to do. It was fantastic for that. But for this game, I needed something a little bit more robust, so I ended up settling on Fishnet. And then I also, for world saving and stuff like that, I am also using Odin Inspector for these cool inspectors. I know none of these are currently using Odin. The main thing that I'm using Odin for is the serializer. So for saving some complex data structures, the Unity serialization isn't really the best at storing like dictionaries and stuff like that. You'd have to figure out your own serialization for those, and those are just kind of built into Odin. You just get it for free. So that's a couple things that are built into it. But I'm going to show you guys what I got so far, and it is fully networked. So we're able to connect several clients up to a host or a dedicated server build. I'm kind of going to be going with the Minecraft model here. So within probably the next few weeks or months, I'll probably have a pre-alpha build up for you guys to download for free and to play with your friends. I do plan on selling this game for some amount of profit in the future, but for testing and stuff like that, I would like to open it up for everyone to give feedback in these really early builds of the game. So we're just gonna pop into a local instance of the game here. Keep in mind the artwork is very rudimentary. Like, I don't even have any player art ready yet, and it's not really fully like built. So we're kind of just, you know, we got some basic terrain generation and stuff like that. I just want to forewarn you guys when we step into this. So here we are in our game. So as you can see here, if we go into the scene view, we have a cool little world here So this is chunked. So we have a whole bunch of chunks here, chunk game objects that all are generating using noise functions. So I'm using fast noise light to handle the noise generation of the terrain. Unity's Perlin noise is great, but when you start going on beyond 10 million tiles, you can get some problems. I'm not really sure how familiar you guys are with the Farlands in Minecraft. I'm sure some of you have heard of that, or maybe have seen it in videos. There'll be a link in the description to a video talking about the Farlands from Ant Venom in the description below if you want to learn something about Minecraft and why I needed to use fast noise light for this game. So yeah, fast noise light has support for double precision floating point math for the noise functions. I did have to make some slight modifications to a few things to allow for some other features that I needed, like using a long based seed, and a few other small math things that I had to change in the library to handle that. But overall, we have a cool little world here that is all chunk based. So each of these little chunks are here, and they're all layer based too. So if we click on, we have the one that we clicked on here. So if I click on any one of these, right? So we grab this. So whatever chunk this one is, we'll kind of zoom in on it here. So this chunk here, right? So this is a just a underground chunk, right? So it has 3 layers. We have a main layer, a tree layer, and a decorations layer. These are all different layers, and I could add as many layers as I want to this, depending on my scriptable object. So I have a scriptable object in my content folder here, and we have a world one here. So this is where we can add layers. So this is where all of the layers are added. We can add a new one, but I have 3 of them here: decorations, main, and tree. And these are all derived from these block scriptable objects. So these all are the different layers. So this is the main layer, which has some block IDs in here for stone, and it has some various different like collision type stuff, whether it's a fluid or not, if it's a light source, whether it should fall, stuff like that, if it's transparent. These various different options here for determining the kind of status of the block, right? And this stuff can all be looked up. So like when a block is destroyed or something like that, or we're trying to get a block, we can determine this all from this cool little block entry scriptable object to determine some of its features. So rather than storing each block as its own game object, this is the way that you would want to handle that if you're building out your own procedural world in Unity. If you would like to see a tutorial series on this, leave a comment if you'd like to see it. I would be totally down to do a small tutorial series going over some of the aspects of my own project here and to get you started on maybe building your own cool little procedural world or experiment or something like that, that I could show you some of the processes for building out this kind of stuff. But yeah, this pretty much handles like the block data dictionary. So this is where all the blocks are stored, each of their values and stuff like that too. How many variations we have, where its texture position is in the atlas. So I'm using a texture atlas for each layer, so that way we don't have to load up all these individual textures individually onto the GPU. We could just load one big texture onto the GPU and that handle being stitched basically to our chunk. So each chunk is its own game object with its own layer. As you can see, I do actually have a polygon collider on this, but no collision is actually being done through the polygon collider. I had to actually roll my own collision for this. So we're actually using an AABB collision model with its own deterministic math to determine whether or not blocks are solid and stuff like that, and to allow for movement on the player. It's actually very cool, and it works really well for what we're trying to do. But yeah, so we have each of these little chunk objects that have each of these layers, and as you can see, we have our little world here. So we could zoom back over on this end, and here we have our little player. And if you watch over here, so I actually want to show you what's going on when we start moving around in the world. So I actually have a object pool. So we have all of these chunk game objects that are pooled together in a pool, so that way we're not having to constantly instantiate and destroy them. This is one of the tiny optimizations that you can make to your own game to handle the garbage collector not just exploding. before I optimized this, the garbage collector was not very thrilled about it, and you'd have some huge garbage collector spikes while it was getting rid of these old objects as it was destroying them, and that's actually not very good for performance, right? So we want to make sure that we have them pooled to allow us to reuse these chunk game objects, but replace the data in them, right? So as we move here, we have these chunks generating here, but it's really just replacing the data in the chunk object, and it moves it, which is pretty cool. So as we move about here, we just generate more chunks, and then we can go back, right? So we can go back here, back this way in the world, and we will keep generating these chunks back over here, but we'll also end up reloading the chunks that we've edited. So if I build here real quick, so I'm going to select stone here, and we're going to build a little bridge back up to where we need to be. So we can go ahead and start placing these little blocks like so. We'll just kind of build these guys up here, and we'll just sort of kind of like so. So now we have a cool little staircase here. And I can destroy these too, so if it's within a 6 blocks radius, I can destroy them. But if it's beyond that, I have trouble destroying them. And we could also destroy these torches and stuff like that too. Lighting is also here. It's not complete yet. There's a lot of work still to be done on lighting. I don't have day-night cycles done yet, but I do have basic lighting, and I can show you guys that in a moment. But yeah, so we can destroy, and we can go back this way. And if you're kind of wondering, why does the world keep moving in the scene view? So I have a world origin shifter that allows us to shift the whole world. So if we go out about 100 or so units out, we'll shift the world. So watch as we move, and then everything kind of just went back to the center here. The main reason why I did this is another Unity, I don't want to call it an issue, but when you start making large worlds in Unity, floating point precision, it comes back down to floating point precision, because this position, so this position here, right, is using floats, right? So if we grab my player here in the scene view, right, if we go over here into my scene, we're gonna lower the game thing here, and we're gonna go back over here into the scene, grab my little player here, right? So we have our little player, right, and we're able to move him around. Hold on a minute. So yeah, we can move him around, or not currently. So either way, floats are used for Unity's precision, like for the position. And again, when you get out at about 10,000 units, it starts having precision loss, right? At about 100,000, you might get some noticeable jitter. At about 1 million, it'll get even more noticeable, right? And at about 10 million, it loses all precision, and it's basically you're going to be stepping through each number, right? So instead of you moving, you know, point whatever distance, like you don't get smooth movement like this, you'll just be like, it'll be jittery, right? I could throw footage of old Minecraft footage over here to show you what it kind of looks like, and that's what that would feel like. So the whole reason why I have this floating origin shift is so that way we don't ever encounter that problem, and we can keep the player, at least for the rendering, right, and for the client side, to be in Unity space, to be always within the zone where it gets maximum precision. So that way, you know, even though we can TP out, you know, we'll TP 1 million tiles out here. Actually, let's do 10 million, and we'll do 150 here. So if we teleport out, right, I've teleported out, you know, about 65,000 chunks out. We're way out here, right? And as you can see, even though we are so far away, we're still in the Unity space here, right? So I'm gonna move this like this. Sorry. You know, actually, it'd probably be even better to just be in 2D view. Either way, as you can see, we're still right in the origin here, despite being so far out, right? So we're like really, really, really far out in the world, but now we are still super precise with none of that problem. And another thing that I've done in this is there's actually, if you notice here, so you can see this little chunk coordinate thing. So I had to actually build my own coordinate system. I'll show you, I'll give you a look into the code for this, because this is really, really cool stuff. So if we go back to spawn here, right? So we can do /spawn. Now we're back at the spawn. And here we are back at our cool little spawn. I also have a little chat in here, so we can chat in the thing here. It's pretty cool. It works. And there's commands too. That's for multiplayer. But yeah, let me show you some of the code for this too, because I want to go over some of this with you guys. We can go ahead and take a look at our world position here. So we have a world position struct for keeping track of the position of the player in the world. So we have a vector2 int to handle the chunk coordinate. So this can go out about 2 billion chunks. And we have a vector2 for the local. And this allows the player's location to be calculated by its chunk position, right? So whatever the chunk size is, plus its local position within the chunk, which would be 0 to 15, if it's a 16 by 16 chunk, or 0 to whatever, right? Depending on whatever size it is, depending on the size of the chunks you want to have. This will help you determine that. And we could take in values for like determining that. So we have int chunk y, and then we could use floats because it's a normal vector 2. And this is how we can bypass that issue in Unity for doing that. And we have stuff for calculating where block position goes for coordinates in a block. There's some extra stuff in here for calculating stuff like distance and stuff like that in this struct. There's a couple nifty little things that I use to for the world positioning here. There's also there's a lot of stuff in here, but we can kind of peer into a few other things that I'd like to touch on. So the world origin shift, this is what handles the shifting of all the game objects on the screen, including the player, back to the origin of the world around 0, 0. This handles all of that, and it'll check on update where the player's at, given its absolute value and stuff like that, and projected, and it'll shift the world depending on where the player's at when they exceed the threshold for that. So it's pretty cool, and this just shifts the world. And then it also works with the player network controller to deal with that. Or no, it deals with the player's kinematic body, which is the collision that I talked about that was that I had to roll. So this is our collision, this is how it's handled, and this is all handled through math and stuff like that, through this tile motor script that I made for dealing with all the math for figuring out where blocks are, how we can do all of that stuff. It's all very cool at how it handles. And I also would like to show you guys the multiplayer. So I can connect two clients together. So if we'll go to this here, we'll go ahead and boot this up in a multiplayer setup. All right, so here we are. So we have 2 players here. So we have Chandler, which is me, and we have Bob. We can have Bob say hello. So there's Bob, just said hello. Hi, Bob. Because we're actually both on the same computer, they're both considered op for the sake of this. It's fine. It's because of how I have the identity system set up. We could talk about that in another video if you guys would like. But yeah, multiplayer works. We have 2 instances of player. Oh, I had Bob still in the chat. I was confused. So as you can see, we have 2 players here just moving around, existing in the world. We can teleport Bob, so we could do like /TP, I don't know, like, yeah, 5,075, sure. And now Bob is at a completely different area in the world. Completely separate, 5,000 blocks out, and we know that if we check here, we can see that Bob is quite a ways out here. This actually has no bearing on that, so I could make Bob go like way further out. So we could do like TP, like a whole bunch of zeros on that, and do like 75 again. And Bob is just way out there. Bob's just chilling out there, and as you can see here, you can see that Bob is way out in the world, but movement on Bob's end is really, really good too. It's still super smooth. It's fantastic. And even if I go to here, so if we go back to me here and we do /TP Bob, right? We TP to Bob. Bob's not really that far out anymore. So that's the cool coordinate system doing its work to ensure that multiplayer is going to be really smooth on this. And yeah, it's very cool. So we can go back to spawn. and Bob is now a million blocks out or whatever. I don't know how far Bob's out. Bob's just vibing, all right? He's just out there vibing. But yeah, so Bob's just chilling here. He's way out there. There's another cool thing I want to cover with you guys real quick before we close out my little progress update here for the game is dedicated server. So this goes with the Minecraft model, where players can host their own dedicated servers. We have an executable here with a dedicated server build of Unity. We have a server config here, so we can open up this JSON file. I'm going to add me as an initial op. Real quick, we'll save that, so that way when the world loads up, we can do that. We could also choose a spawn protection radius of, I don't know, like 50. That's fine. This is actually not completely finished yet, and as you can see, we have a require Steam here. I'm going to be probably doing Steam for this game. That just seems like the logical choice to sell it. I also may sell it directly too. It depends. I'm not really sure how I want to handle that yet, but I have the stuff here for that already built in, ready to go, at least for configuration wise. It's actually not really in the code yet. So yeah, we have initial ops. This will automatically add me to the ops file when I first join. So the first player to join the server with following that username will get added to the ops automatically. This is pretty standard, I think. At least in the case that like where you are making your own server, obviously you're going to be the first person to connect to it. So I'm assuming that that's going to be the case. No one's going to be able to steal that. And then it will store my unique ID into the ops.json file. And I'm using JSONs for all this, using Newtonsoft JSON to handle all this stuff. We also have banned IPs, banned players. I don't actually have the world in here yet, but the world will be in also this directory at some point too. I'm going to be working on that today to get that in as well. So that way we're not persisting all from the same world. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and load this up. So we'll just pop open this dedicated server. And it is going to load up everything. And it should be loading up in a moment. There we go. All right, so I have connected myself to the dedicated server. We'll connect Bob to it too. So now we have Bob connected. So now we have me and Bob here just chilling on the dedicated server. So we're both on, and we're both connected to this server. So the cool thing about this is now when I type in chat, right? So now I'm op, and Bob is probably not going to be opt because Bob is not there. Or Bob is opt because he has the same ID as me. So Bob still has commands and stuff. That's fine. But the cool thing is we actually can do commands. So we can do /help. We can see all the commands we have here. So if I want to mute Bob, I can. Or we could kick him. So we can do /kick Bob. And Bob's gone. Bob's out of here. He's gone. Bob got forcibly removed. And if we go back to Bob here, he's not even in the world anymore. And he got kicked. So we can still make Bob join back again. That's fine. We could ban Bob too if we want. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much that. Oh, and I forgot, I guess I'll show you guys lighting too. So sorry, I didn't have any lights placed down. So as you can see, lighting works. We have a floating torch there. We'll just place it on the ground. It's not completely complete yet for determining like where torches can be placed yet. So that's fine. But yeah, lighting is here too. So as you can see, the world is just dark. And if we just kind of move away here and or not move away because I can't see what the heck I'm doing. But yeah, it's /spawn. We'll do /TP like 1,000 blocks out. That's fine. So now you can see we're just completely gone. I can't see. We can place a torch. And then, you know, we have some visibility. We can go back to spawn. And we're back. We can also do save all. So this will save the world. It'll forcibly save it, but naturally when chunks unload, they'll be saved by default. And those get saved to region files, which is pretty standard, I think. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the game that I've gotten in so far. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of a look into it. I hope you guys liked the video. Leave a like if you have any. If you like the video, comment if you have anything you want to say about the game or what I should add. There's lots of stuff I want to add to this game, so definitely give suggestions. I'd like to see what you guys have to say about it. Like the video, share it, whatever. Do the usual stuff. Go wishlist the amazing ball on Steam. I'm still working on that. It's going to be out eventually. I've kind of gotten a little distracted with this game. Don't do that, by the way. Like, if you're gonna commit to a project, like, commit to it. Don't like get distracted like I did. But this game's very cool. And I'm very excited about it. So like, yeah, I mean, you know. But yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah, peace out.